The Chinese Communist Party's war on Christianity is ramping up to new levels. Welcome to China Uncensored, I'm Chris Chappell. Communism isn't known for having a great relationship with religion, and the Chinese Communist Party is no exception. The CCP's latest move to ensure they don't get into heaven is their mass arrest last week of dozens of Christians, among them Ezra Jin, seen here in 2018. He's the founder and pastor of Zion Church. Since October 9th, Jin and nearly 30 other pastors and co-workers have disappeared into police custody, many losing contact with their families. Authorities officially shut down his Zion Church in 2018, but it continued operating in a limited capacity, including online. In fact, some of those arrested are facing the definitely not made up criminal charge of illegal dissemination of religious information via the internet. They could face very long prison sentences. So why come down so hard on people for belonging to a church? Well, the short answer is Christians believe that God is a higher moral authority than the CCP. And that's a big no-no for the CCP. Or maybe the CCP just feels religion is redundant. Because if people want a powerful, wrathful entity monitoring everything they do, that's what the CCP is for. The CCP may have missed the lesson about morality, though. After Chairman Mao took over China, the CCP deported foreign missionaries and had Chinese Christians starved, tortured, killed, driven to suicide, and much worse. After Deng Xiaoping came to power in '78, things opened up a bit, but the persecution of Christians never really went away. A subsequent Chinese leader, and now dead toad, Jiang Zemin once said, "We are engaged in a secret struggle against the church." Xi Jinping is not any better. A few years ago, I did an episode on 10 ways China is targeting Christians, including actually rewriting the Bible. Like I said, people believing in anything other than the CCP is a threat. But the CCP knows it's hard to change people's beliefs. It doesn't work to just ban a way of thinking. You have to create a pathway for people to believe they have some freedom, and then subvert it. Which is why in the 1950s, the CCP created an official state-sanctioned Protestant religion called the Three Self-Patriotic Movement. It oversees churches around the country. Yes, that's Xi Jinping and Mao Zedong up there. The goal is to give people the illusion that they can be Christian. Millions of people attend these kinds of state-sanctioned churches across China. But the CCP uses their Three Self-Patriotic organization to make sure pastors and doctrine are loyal to the party. The CCP is fine with Christian churches just as long as they are Sinicized with Chinese characteristics. That's code for forcing Christians to conform to party ideology and become communist puppets. And when it comes to Sinicizing Christianity, the CCP has been very busy. They've rewritten parts of the Bible, made state-approved churches perform patriotic music, required clergy to pledge allegiance to the CCP and socialism, put Xi Jinping portraits up in church sanctuaries, and made church library rooms stock books on Xi Jinping's speeches and state regulations. And you thought the Bible was hard to get through. Now, as I said, there are millions of Chinese people who belong to state-run churches, but some Christians, for some reason, think God should be placed above the CCP. They often worship in house churches or underground churches. They're not literally underground, mostly, but they are very illegal. The Zion Church is one of these. Christians who go to these underground churches often get arrested. Churches get demolished. And if Christians aren't being beaten, tortured, or arrested, they face constant harassment, like having their homes looted and their home door locks broken if they haven't been booted out. You know, if China didn't want so many religious people, maybe they should stop acting in a way that makes people feel like prayer is their only hope for a better future. And yet, that's not enough for the CCP. Even if you belong to a state-sanctioned church, they're tightening the leash. They're ramping up surveillance, not just with cameras. Some churches are being told to install face and fingerprint scanners. In Henan province, Christians must now submit an online form beforehand on a new smart religion app in order to attend church. And these are state-approved churches. The Chinese government has also launched a database for church leaders, showing the public things like names, photos, and church affiliation, supposedly to ensure openness and safety against fraud and fake religious leaders. Totally not for tracking and monitoring people, right? Where's your faith? China's also cracking down on Christian education. China's authorities already ban minors from attending churches and religious activities. But it's doubling down its efforts to discourage people from sharing anything religious. A few years ago, it started to intensify its raids on private Christian schools, because the only education China tolerates is this kind. Things got so bad that one Chinese pastor said, before 2020, there were a number of Christian schools. Now, it's very hard to find any. In America, we have separation of church and state. China has that too, only they separate it with a hatchet. Can China do anything more to mess up Christianity in China? Apparently. China recently released a new 5-year plan for advancing the Sinicization of Christianity, that is, making it more communist. They want to transform people's thinking and transform theology into a pro-CCP gospel. And they're achieving that by making churches host more pro-CCP celebrations, like essay contests, poetry sessions and competitions, and patriotic tours. And maybe if there's some time left, they can talk about that Jesus guy a little bit, and how he would have been loyal to the CCP if the capitalists hadn't killed him. Churches are also encouraged to have seminars and training sessions to draft and promote Sinicized Christianity, which again is the communist kind. This isn't just limited to mainland churches. China's flooding Hong Kong with this kind of thing as well. And China's communist evangelists want to go global with it. Because don't get fooled. Communists aren't atheists. They're communists. That's their religion. There are even China-backed pastors talking about how they should tell people that China has freedom of religion and belief, while at the same time pushing Sinicized Christianity to people overseas. Anybody tell that pastor that it's a sin to lie and promote idolatry? As far as I'm concerned, that's not endorsed in the Bible I'm reading. The God Bless the USA Bible, the only Bible endorsed by former and current President Donald Trump. This is how you nationalize a book of prayer. And guess where China wants to destroy religion next? Taiwan. In fact, if China is successful in invading Taiwan, religion will be one of the first things to go, just like how they've destroyed religion in Tibet and Xinjiang. Because again, you can't have people believe in something that's higher than the CCP. But why does China want to take Taiwan so badly? And are they really willing to drag the rest of the world into war? I can answer those questions for you. In fact, I already have in my most recent deep dive episode. It's on my exclusive website, ChinaUncensored.tv. And for a limited time, I'm going to give you free access to it. Just click below, leave us your email address, and unlock the video for free. Why is it only on our website? Well, partly because YouTube would demonetize it. And partly because I want to show you how awesome our website is, and to give you more China Uncensored videos. And most importantly, when you sign up to the website, every dollar goes to helping us make more videos for you, including videos like this that expose the kind of human rights violations that the CCP definitely does not want the world to know about. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Stand with me against the CCP. Start by clicking below to watch the free video on my website.